There is a forgotten patch of jungle in the heart of Indonesia where the land hums with an eerie silence. Locals call it Gunung Padang, the mountain of enlightenment. But the truth beneath its moss-covered stones might shake everything we thought we knew about ancient history. For deep beneath the surface lies a hidden pyramid, older than the Egyptian pyramids, and maybe even older than civilization itself. Now imagine this. You're thousands of miles away, standing under the scorching sun of Mexico's Teotihuacan. Before you rises the Pyramid of the Sun, a structure so massive it casts shadows like time itself. But here's the strange part. It wasn't built by the Aztecs. In fact, when the Aztecs arrived, it was already ancient. They called it the City of the Gods because no one remembered who built it. And then if we travel across the oceans, into the deserts of Sudan, you will find more pyramids than in all of Egypt, tucked away like forgotten echoes of a different past. Keep going. Cambodia, China, Peru, even remote islands in the Pacific. Why? Why are there pyramids on every continent? It's one of the most haunting and strangely overlooked questions of our time. It's not just because these structures exist everywhere, but because they look eerily similar. Across vast oceans, across millennia, across completely disconnected cultures, who were never supposed to have met. No phones, no planes, no shared blueprints. And yet, triangles rise from stone in perfect form. This isn't just architecture, it's a whisper from the ancient world. A pattern that refuses to die. Some will say it's coincidence. That the pyramid is simply the most stable structure, the most logical design for ancient people, stacking stone upon stone. That's the safe answer. The academic one. But look closer and that answer starts to unravel. Because while the shape might be similar, the purpose is often unknown. And the deeper we dig, sometimes literally the stranger it gets. Let's return to Gunung Padang for a moment. To the untrained eye, it looks like a natural hill. But when ground-penetrating radar was used to scan its layers, researchers found that it wasn't just a hillet, it was an intentional design built in multiple phases, some parts dating back to 20,000 BC. That's before the last ice age ended. This would rewrite the entire story of human civilization. Mainstream history says complex societies didn't exist that far back, that people were still nomadic, barely organizing beyond hunting and gathering. But then, who built this pyramid? And why archaeologists who dared to speak up were met with skepticism? Funding was pulled, reports buried, as if history was guarding its secrets, even from us. Now shift your gaze to Bosnia, where a controversial discovery has divided scholars for years. In the town of Visoko, a massive hill towers over the landscape. To some, it's just geology. But to others, like Samir Osmanagic, the archaeologist who championed the theory it's a man-made pyramid, the largest in the world. He points to perfect triangular faces, artificial tunnels beneath the ground, and ancient stone blocks aligned with astronomical precision. Critics dismiss him, but his excavations continue, and with every new layer unearthed, the lines between myth and reality blurred just a little more. It makes you wonder, what if we've been taught to forget? In the shadow of Egypt's famed Giza Plateau, the pyramids still stand like timeless sentinels. Their geometry is flawless. Their alignment with the stars, precise beyond reason. The Great Pyramid of Giza isn't just big, it's almost impossible. Millions of limestone blocks, each weighing tons, lifted and placed without cranes, computers, or steel, and inside, no pharaoh's body. No royal tomb. It was never really a tomb, was it? Some believe it was a machine, a harmonizer, a vessel that once channeled energy from the earth itself. Others say it encoded mathematical secrets, golden ratios, planetary distances, the speed of light, hidden in stone, waiting to be read. But here's where it gets even stranger. On the other side of the globe, in the heart of Central America, the Mayans built step pyramids. At and Palenque. The temple pyramids weren't tombs either. They were calendars, observatories, gateways to the heavens. They tracked the stars, eclipses, solstices. Their architecture was infused with cosmic knowledge, as if they weren't just building upward, but connecting upward. Different peoples, different myths, same geometry. How this isn't just about stones and bricks, it's about the fingerprints of something forgotten, something global. maybe even something non-human. And still we ask, almost in a whisper, did ancient cultures around the world all discover the same idea by accident? Or did they inherit it from something or someone they all once knew? Because if the answer lies in the dust of these pyramids, we've only begun brushing the surface. Let's go deeper. Into the rainforests where pyramids hide beneath vines. Into the deserts where lost cities sleep. To the oceans where some say ruins lie in wait, untouched by time. And maybe, just maybe, the pyramids aren't what they were. Maybe they're what they still are, sages in stone, pointing not just to the past, but to something timeless. The next clue? It's buried just beneath the sand, beneath the sea, and maybe beneath the surface of what we've been told. Let's keep digging. Some say you can still hear the echo of drums beneath the jungle floor in Guatemala. Not from a speaker or a ritual, but from the stone itself. At the Mayan pyramid complex of when you clap your hands near the base of the main staircase, the echo doesn't sound like a normal reverberation. It mimics the chirp of the sacred quetzal bird, a sound that ancient priests believed connected the heavens and the earth. Coincidence? Or did these builders understand something we've forgotten, something about sound, resonance, and geometry that goes beyond engineering? The ancient world wasn't just a collection of disconnected civilizations trying to survive. It was something more, something synchronized. From the Andes to Angkor Wat, from Egypt to China, we see the same obsession with alignment. The stars, sacred geometry. The pyramids weren't just tombs. They were machines of meaning, mirrors of the cosmos, maps of something much bigger. In China's Shanxi province, government officials long denied the existence of pyramids. But satellite images and whispers from American pilots during World War II? A different story. Nestled among rolling hills beneath layers of earth and deliberate forestation lie massive pyramid-shaped structures. Now some even dwarf the Great Pyramid of Giza in height. They're called the White Pyramids, and their existence was kept quiet for decades. Why? Locals have long believed these monuments were the resting places of ancient sky emperors, rulers who came from the stars. Carvings speak of long dragons in the sky, of visitors descending from above. Are they myths, metaphors, or hints? In Peru, the pyramids of Caral defy expectations. They were built over 5,000 years ago, around the same time as Egypt's earliest monuments, yet show no signs of warfare. No weapons, just music, trade, agriculture, and mathematics. A civilization thriving not on conquest, but on cosmic harmony. Their pyramids weren't places of death, but of celebration and sound. Flutes were found in their chambers, tuned to specific frequencies, again resonance. It's as if the ancients weren't just building upward, they were tuning in. Across the Pacific in Polynesia, the island of Tonga holds pyramidal mounds made of coral and basalt, perfectly aligned with solstices. In Micronesia, the lost city of Nan Madol floats on a network of basalt platforms so massive and remote that modern engineers still can to explain how they were constructed. And then there's Antarctica. Yes, even there. In recent years, images have emerged of strange, sharp formations rising through the snow triangular. Symmetrical and unmistakably pyramid-shaped. Scientists caution against jumping to conclusions. Nature, after all, can sculpt mountains in mysterious ways. But the symmetry is unnerving. Could they be natural? Of course. But what if they're not? What if we're only now discovering the remnants of a civilization so old, so buried in ice and time, that we've lost all record of its existence? That possibility begins to reshape the narrative entirely. You see, if pyramids weren't just cultural expressions, but rather a form of universal language, then who was speaking it? What mind understood the language of stars, stone, and sound across every corner of the planet? Maybe the real mystery lies in that pyramids exist on every continent, but that they exist everywhere for the same reasons. Yet no one seems to remember why. This is where things get even stranger. Many ancient texts, some dismissed as myth, others long forgotten, speak of an era before the flood. An age of advanced civilizations that were wiped from the face of the earth. The Sumerians called it the time of the Anunnaki. Hindu texts refer to the end of the last yuga. The Greeks told of Atlantis. The Bible speaks of Nephilim giants who walked the earth before the deluge. All of them describe not just mythical ages, but technologies, structures, and knowledge far beyond their time. And often, at the center of these stories, are pyramids. Could these structures be remnants? Not from 1,000 years ago, but 10,000, 20,000? Built by a civilization that understood energy, frequency, and geometry in ways we're only beginning to rediscover? Modern scientists now study how pyramid shapes affect energy fields. Some claim these structures can preserve food, sharpen razor blades, or even influence biological systems. It sounds fantastical till you remember that even today, we build antennas, cooling towers, and certain spacecraft using similar geometries. The shape matters, always has. But perhaps the most haunting thought of all is this. What if the pyramids weren't built to last because the builders were proud of their culture, but because they were trying to leave behind a message? A cosmic time capsule, a whisper into the future, a way to say, we were here and we knew something you've forgotten. And if that's true, then maybe it's not just a matter of where the pyramids are, or how they were built, but why they've survived. Because for all our technology, our satellites, and our skyscrapers, none of it may endure like the pyramids have. Stand while empires fall, silent, watchful, waiting for us to remember. Let's keep going. There's one final place we must visit. A pyramid so controversial, so hidden in plain sight, that its existence rewrites not only history, but everything we think we know about human origins, and what it reveals might just be the most astonishing piece of all. High in the remote mountains of Alaska, beyond the grasp of roads and beneath layers of earth and silence, lies a sight few have ever heard of, and even fewer have seen. In 1992, a nuclear test conducted by the Chinese government rippled deep into the earth. And as American satellites measured seismic data, something unexpected surfaced literally. Beneath Alaska's wild terrain, radar picked up what appeared to be a geometric structure. A pyramid, massive, buried, undocumented. News stations briefly mentioned it just once. Then silence. Some claim it's a natural formation. Others say it's a military installation. But the whispers tell a stranger story. They call it the Dark Pyramid. Locals speak of aircraft malfunctions, radio blackouts, strange vibrations in the air. Pilots avoid flying near it. Some say it emits energy steady and low, like a heartbeat made of stone. One retired military technician who broke his silence in the 2000s claimed the structure was real. He said it was larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, and older, much older. If that's true, then who built it? And why is it hidden? We've journeyed across continents now. From the step pyramids of the Maya to the stone giants of Sudan. From the whispering hill of Gunung Padang to the icy ridges of Antarctica, the pattern is clear. The triangle persists, across culture, across language, across extinction, and still, it remains. Maybe it's more than architecture. Maybe it's a symbol repeating like a forgotten word in the language of the ancients. Maybe it points upward not to gods, but to knowledge. Maybe it connects downward not to death, but to memory. Because here's the truth. No textbook wants to say out loud. We don't know who built the first pyramids. We don't know how. And we certainly don't know why so many people separated by oceans, languages, and lifetimes chose the same shape to carry their secrets across time. Could it be that these cultures weren't separate at all? Some researchers believe there was once a global seafaring civilization predating Egypt, Sumer, and even Göbekli Tepe. A civilization that understood the stars, the rhythms of the earth, the cycles of time. They mapped the skies. They built monuments of math and myth. They encoded knowledge in stone, knowing that paper burns and tongues forget. And when that civilization vanished by flood, by fire, or by silence, its memory scattered into fragments, into myths, into ruins, to pyramids. We may never know the full truth. But the evidence keeps rising like the structures themselves, demanding we ask harder questions. Why does the Great Pyramid encode the dimensions of the Earth and the distance to the Sun? Why do ancient texts describe golden ages, cosmic visitors, and lost cities that sound too detailed to be fiction? Why do so many pyramids align with celestial events, equinoxes, solstices, the path of Orion's belt? And why? Why do we keep ignoring the possibility that the ancients weren't primitive but profound? The more we dig, the more we find. It's not just stone, but purpose. Not just mystery, but memory. These aren't just relics of the past. They may be blueprints for the future. Clues to a way of living that honored harmony, resonance, and connection with something greater. In a world obsessed with speed, noise, and forgetting, the pyramids ask us to slow down, to listen, to remember, and maybe that's their greatest gift. Because when you stand beneath one, when you place your hand on its weathered stone, something stirs, something ancient, something timeless, as if the earth itself is trying to speak, the only language that doesn't decay. Geometry, proportion, silence. So the next time someone tells you the pyramids are just tombs, ask them why there are no mummies in the Great Pyramid. Ask them why nearly every culture on Earth built something so similar, so enduring, and so mysterious. Ask them why even today, with all our science and tools, we can't replicate them with the same precision. And then ask yourself, what else have we forgotten? Because the answers may not be buried in the sand, but in the questions we stop asking. If you felt something stir during this journey, some forgotten knowing, some whisper from a place beyond history, don't let it fade. Share your theories. Tell your stories. Let's wonder together, because the past isn't behind us, it's beneath us. And it's calling. If this left you thinking, dreaming, or questioning, leave a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts. Is it all coincidence or something more? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again as we uncover more truths hidden in plain sight. Until then, remember, sometimes the oldest things on Earth aren't just ruins, they're riddles. And the answer may still be rising.